station crew. Enjoy your stay.
Alright, welcome to SS-14, Space Station 14. Today I'd like to show off my first shift as a detective. It went pretty well, I gotta say. I don't think I actually made any arrests, but I sure had lots of fun. So let's get started. This will be taking place on the Wizard's Den Lizard server. Did I say that right? Wizard's Den? Yeah. Obviously we start with us gearing up. I have a bit of a soundtrack from the Duck Detective games. So, I guess I should explain. I'm going to be assuming that you guys haven't seen. Since this is my first SS14 video, I'll be explaining as things as I go along. Here we have our first main character, Kato, the cadet. I trained him personally in a previous round. Now we get our first mini case. A bit It's gonna be a simple one. A cadet comes into security and asks, well, let's wait for them to say, why is the front of Sec already unscrewed? So I go and investigate. I take out my handy dandy forensic scanners looking for fingerprints. And what do we find? Yellow insoles. Here we have John Smith, a tider, yellow insoles. I say he did it. It's a bit of a bluff. We're still missing one key piece of evidence. Proof, like tools and such, but I get those two. Now the cadet wants to arrest them, but that's not unscrewing the front of maintenance of security isn't. You can call it a crime if you want to, but meh. Instead, I prefer to just ask John to just rescrew the maintenance panels. It's a bit of a trick. If he can rescrew the door panels, it means he has the tools on him, so that'll be another piece of evidence. So as we see, he's cycling through a bunch of tools. And there we go. Also, please remember John over here, another recurring character. Now we go towards another mystery. I'll never solve this one, why the door was bolted. I'm not sure what happened there. Anyway, we have our next case. We get reports of a kidnapping. Over on the radio. I just remember to turn on my cords. And then we start investigating this quote-unquote kidnapping. Here's the person who says they were kidnapped. Boop. Over in disposals. What we're missing is also the kidnapper. I start typing out what happens, where the location of the quote-unquote kidnapping is. Also, is it just me or did Cargo only have a quartermaster this shift? What was that about? Here's the kidnapper, the research director, who's over in Sec, which seems very strange. First because now the AI is also investigating, but they haven't caught up to the research director being the quote-unquote suspect. Now, I type in Fremov, the research director, is the RD, which isn't what I should have typed. I typed this in to make it so that people know that it's not a kidnapping, but what I should have said is Fremov is in security and isn't anywhere near the kidnapping site. Being the RD doesn't mean you're not gonna be doing crimes, at least. In technicality it should, but it's not always that way. It's no proof of anything. Anyway, that seems like we have a fake kidnapping. Now we have somebody who's going for bomb disposal, Kato again. Last shift we had a bomb that we had trouble defusing, so we get some practice. Now we have our fake kidnappee. We're getting into Perma. It's a bit of a strange habit. If somebody lives in Perma and makes it habitable, where are we going to be Perma-ing people? That's a bit of a conundrum. If Perma is too nice, people actually want to live in Perma. But then, if you actually want to live in Perma, is Perma even a punishment for crimes? Anyway, the HOS and the Warden are here, so it's pretty much their call to make. It's not exactly a crime. I mean, space law is quite flexible, so if you want, you can pretty much stick crimes wherever you... space law crimes, wherever people do actions that are questionables. Anyway, I get called over to science since there were a couple of bombings that were done. Which is quite nice of science to remember. This was totally out of my radar to investigate the science bombings. I was pretty busy over at security, looking at my computers and cameras and stuff, doing literally nothing. Anyway, I run over to the scene. Science person is kind enough to let me in, and we start investigating. Somebody's gonna be kind enough to show me around. Excuse me. Now I'll be fast forwarding a bit because I took a while to investigate, mostly using door logs. But hey, it's what happens when you're detecting. So we have multiple bombs we have gone off in here. They point at the artifact room, but looking at the loose wires, I'm guessing, and also the lack of lathes, I'm guessing the one that actually blew up was inside the lobby. Or the artifact just blew up. Which are pretty common areas, so the door log won't help us much. But we get started on it right away. I'll be fast forwarding at, I think, 3 times speed as we look around for suspects until we get some actual, somewhat definitive evidence. Now, I don't know why, I feel like the scientist is just literally not doing anything. In like, it's like a break from work. But it's also really helpful, so I don't really mind. I like helpfulness. Helpfulness is helpful. I ask if the power cut out of the door. That will mean that somebody could have passed through without being noticed. I got a time frame too, so we can narrow down the range. Now we get to a third bombing site, I think. We can see some of the damage not repaired yet. The tiles are missing. Also, I'm not sure if I can trust the scientist to know the difference between a bombing, an artifact, or some kind of accident. But anyway, we investigate and find only one scientist passed through this door. Not a research assistant this time around either. So we have a bit of a more hard suspect, since the only other people who passed through here, through this door, were the AI, probably letting somebody in or out. And the Borg. Also, I didn't know this, but the AI opening doors gets logged in, which is kind of cool. An engineer showed up, which is to be expected. But it's good to know still. I'm needed back inside the security now. Somebody got a piece of evidence they wanted to show me. But we get interrupted while I'm over here. Kato finds a bomb near security. This is going to be the main case I'll be tracking throughout this entire shift. Here we have the classic bomb, the Syndicate bomb. I think we can know that it's not a training bomb because Kato used it for training, and spoiler alert, it blew up. I asked him to defuse the bomb since they did the training, so that we know which one of the wires that can blow up, which is better than nothing. Anyway, lots of people start yelling about bombs and running around headlessly. The head of security actually does something useful. I'm not sure if they have the tools, so I bring him out just to be sure. Just trying to be helpful. I gotta say, the response time was pretty fast on this one. But it does help that the security is right next to us with explosive ordnance diffusal thingy-majigs. Anyway, now people just hang around at near security trying to get blown up, I guess. While this happens, I just decide that, if we're gonna get blown up, I might as well log in some of my bombing suspects while we're at it. The HOS manages to defuse the bomb, I think. It's a bit of a luck of the draw type of situation. You gotta get the right wire, otherwise you blow up. And there's, apart from using the training bomb, which is a good idea, you can find one of the trigger wires, but there's always two of them. Anyway, I mark down my suspect for the bombing. I had somebody else planned, but I kind of forgot about it. Anyway, with the bomb defused, we can now analyze the scene for evidence. Also, we have 2 wardens, because why not? 2 is better than 1. You can warden loose and have a warden at the same time back in security. So, we scanned him. Once again, yellow insoles this time around, and black insoles. I didn't know at the time what black insoles were. It's just the head of security's gloves. I say gloves. I do have a habit of misspelling things. I'm not a great typer. I was an old-time console player. I haven't had a computer for like 10 years or anything. So I'm still getting used to fast. I'm not typing that fast, and I'm not typing that correct either. Anyway, I decided I was going to check the door too, because I know who found the bomb, so I can narrow down who... I can narrow down the time scale for my search. I kind of mess up a bit for a while. I forget to take out my PDA in my hand before I try logging the door. But that's alright. It's gonna be fine. Oop. And now we get a bit of an analyzation of the case. Now, we know Kato found the bomb. He was the one that called it. So here's where he was running around, calling it. We have only one person who isn't part of security before that happened, since the court doesn't get frequented much. Now, it's not the only door into the courtroom, but it was the nearest door to the bomb. I check out the other door, it's bolted. I still have a time frame, about 33 minutes ago. Once again, Susie was around here, used the door a couple of times. They were hanging around while Kato was running headlessly. Well, not headlessly, he was actually having a head on his shoulder. And, oh, okay. I was investigating the bombing again when I come across Susie. Classic security. I asked to search them so I can find some evidence, more definitive evidence. At the time, I didn't think of the consequences. Anyway, I pressed escape many times too many. Didn't get my handgun out or anything. Couldn't even move. So I get gunned down. I'm not sure I would have changed many things about that situation. I could have tried, instead of marking Susie as a suspect, I could have tried making them a wanted criminal. But the door logs aren't, like, definitive proof of them being the bomber. I don't remember if I saw if they had insoles or not, but that's still not definitive proof either. So I wanted to search first. Obviously, they had contraband on them, so it wasn't gonna work out anyway. Anyway, I get stripped down, and you'd think that being in a random crate in maintenance would be the death of you. Like, you get rotted and there's nothing that can bring you back. But it'll work out. It works out. Helpful crew hits is helpful. But for now, we get to slowly die. Quietly. Takes a while too. I'm not sure why. I could just die, press the death button, but gasping does give a clue to other people as to your location. So, somebody else comes in, finds me. Our sec bomber warns them not to get closer. But they do leave the crate open. Until they don't. Thankfully, our salvager here is actually helpful. And the QM is here. So, and it didn't take long for this to happen either. So I'll get everything back. It's going to be a long recovery process. From maintenance to med, passing by cargo. They try to use the portal, but they kind of mess around for a long while because my body gets stuck in the portal and they don't have a chair or a bed nearby. But it works out. So here we are, as I recover. Now, for some reason, literally nobody in security recognizes me. No one. Also, I'm not going to assume, or I'm not going to be remembering what happened from the moment I set out a patrol to investigate science. But that doesn't mean I can't find the suspect or the murderer. So I get to talk with the crew and the doctor. So already we have a clue as to where we came from. Obviously, even though I don't remember who killed me, I don't remember the location of my body was found, I don't remember where I was. The last thing I can remember, pretty much, is I left security and went on the patrol looking for suspects. That's basically it. But we have our first clue as to where we came from, the portal. Of course, somebody else comes in to give me actual confirmation. So now we have another clue. The portal and cargo has my items. Warden passes me by, doesn't recognize me. Literally no one from security recognizes me, strangely enough. It kinda hurt my fifis, but it happens. I get some replacement clothing because it's a bit embarrassing to run around naked. And I'm still waiting around in sec because I'm not fully healed up. But it's alright. Not sec, in med. Med isn't too busy, and they can take their time. I get to get more information. If I'd healed too quickly, nobody would have come in and told me that my stuff was in cargo. Anyway, I come over to cargo. People are talking about what just happened. And get my stuff back. Now, there's going to be a couple of things missing from that stuff. Now, somebody asks where my ID is, which is a bit of a not great question since I just died, but it's okay. They don't know the situation, I guess. Also, I still have my ID in there, so it wasn't stolen. The Sav asked me to search. I think they might be worried that they're wearing the cloak, or were hanging out in a suspicious location, or maybe they're an actual antag. I don't know. I don't really care either. Uh, the cloaks, meh. They were literally right in front of the QM. Didn't say nothing. No problems. Whatever. So I pick up whatever I have. There is a couple of stuff missing. My belt and my bag are gone. Still have a disabler. The gun is gone. My tools are gone. The forensic scanner. I still have the mouse. The door probe though. So I decided to investigate my my own death. It's not that far away from cargo. I find a cartridge in my Magnum, I think. Maybe it's mine, maybe it's the Sec Killer, which is going to be their name from now on. Now, I didn't know this at the time when I was, because I didn't pay attention, but this is the actual salvager that actually found me. So they have, they're a witness to the situation. Oh, and also, because they found me, I can check around the time when they were near the door. Just to get more proof. Of course, Susie was the Sec Bomber primary suspect. Now, I don't have my comms, so I can't warn security about this. But we see, we just went in, just before us an Atmotech, and a lawyer came by, multiple times. Pun Pun came by, doesn't really matter. The quartermaster and the salvage specialist are back again. And Susie was there. And the salvage specialist again. And Susie again. Strangely enough, I don't know why, but it seems like Susie was the first person to go into disposals for the entire round, 40 minutes in. So I say that's enough proof for me that Susie killed me and not the salvager. They did help me out and provided the testimony and are cooperative. Asked me to search them. Obviously, sometimes salvage finds contraband over in salvaging areas. I don't really mind as long as they hide it good and don't carry it around openly in the corridors or anything, or don't use it in front of me. I don't care. It's salvage. They get to salvage. It's their role. Anyway, thankfully salvagers are good. This salvager is good and helps me out. So it works out. Now I realize that I've lost comms. So we go back. I informed the wardens of what happened. I think that's my actual bag they found. I'm not sure. I do carry around a satchel, which for some reason is rare amongst the other security staff. But they have my weapon and also my tool for some reason. I guess on comms, while I was dead, somebody, somewhere, informed them. I did have my cords on. Anyway, I tell them Susie is once again the one near my murder site. And also, I remember that they have comms now. They have sec comms. This will be relevant later. Anyway, the psychologist asked me to help him with something. Asked me to stop John. For some reason. Now, the psychologist says that he's trying to kill themselves and that we should stop it. However, we did ask this question before during the shift, and suicide isn't a crime, so we aren't required to stop it. As long as it's not a security threat. And also, it's a psychologist's job, and he's here. And also, I'm kind of busy. With, you know, killers and bombers and people dying, but not of suicide. Anyway, I'm currently scrubbing the cameras, looking for Susie. However, I do get a gift from the warden soon enough. Also, Birch of Calm, the psy-bombing person, gets to be wanted now. Somebody, when I was looking around for Susie, somebody actually said that they searched Birch of Calm and didn't find anything. But that doesn't really deter me. Anyway, Kato's on the ball, saying that they've heard on the comments, on the comment channel, that Birch of Calm just emagged the door. Anyway, the wardens have a gift for me. Since Susie has security comms, and he knows that I don't have I don't have my comms. Anyway, I get some tools. Skellington has joined the security staff, and I now have command comms. We were pursuing Susie for a bit, but obviously they know the AI was using security comms, so they knew where we were. So now I asked them to use command comms to do some security work, especially when it comes to Susie. And I present myself to the command crew. And I say my intentions on this channel. Anyway. Oh, also we have a mime, apparently, in security. I think. I'm not sure. And obviously, the clown did some crimes, so now we gotta arrest him. The clown is the bane of security, but thankfully I know how to walk and stand still while shooting. However, because I kinda lost my stuff earlier, I don't have my usual setup for arrests. So I messed up the actual arrest. Also, my flashlight is kind of low on batteries because I've been scrounging around maintenance looking for Susie again. Anyway, the clown got away, as a good clown should. And we investigate. I picked up the trace of Susie using door logs to follow their trace. So I got a cadet to accompany me while we look for them. But, not all cadets of the quality of Kato. Anyway, Verb the Nouns is the new identity used by Susie, apparently. And we come across this shuttle here. It was used before by Susie to escape from our pursuit. And what do I find over down the ground? But the captain's PVA. And the PI AI. Or the personal AI. I just call it the PI AI. The PAI. Pi AI. I like it. Anyway, the Pi AI, the captain's Pi AI, asks us how it's going. And still, since I haven't caught up with Susie still, I say not good. The cadet's been sleeping back here for the entire time. So I show him how to, or at least I show him that by walking you can just cross these puddles. I fill in with the Pi AI on our situation. Also, I can't breathe. So I quickly fix that. Done. Not done. Also, the captain's ID is still in that PDA. Surprisingly. I gotta say, Susie, while they're a very good sec killer and evader, they do leave lots of IDs around. Both me and the captain's IDs, and all the other sec staff that were killed, there were multiple killings. But I wasn't involved, and I couldn't show footage of it. But they still kept their IDs. It would have been a real pain to have to replace our IDs every single time. Anyway, the research director comes around. They've gone mad, so that's why they're a wanted criminal. Doesn't really matter.
The emergency shuttle has docked
Anyway,
at the station.
the emergency shuttle has docked. For some reason, it's been blocked. I don't think the shuttle that we find here is the reason why the emergency shuttle is being blocked. It's probably for some other reason, but I don't know. Anyway, I'm thinking about using the shuttle to escape, but there's no air, apparently. So we're just gonna walk over to evac and find a nice surprise there. Once I do my cut, which should be happening anytime now, I swear. Anyway, I've been pretty much looking around maintenance, door logging, trying to pick up a trace. Whoop. Anyway, the Pi is a good reward, I think, for my investigations. We got to save them from whatever happened to them. I guess they forgot. I think the Pi has access to common comms and binary comms. So, next time, if you ever, as a Pi, you ever get abandoned in a accessible place like maintenance, you can use the comms to get somebody to pick you up if you want to. A tip, I think. I'm not sure right now. I hope so anyway. I don't remember what I was doing here. Oh yeah, I was on the way back to evac. I was trying to see if I can pick up the trace of Susie Kraft again. It doesn't work out. This is where I kind of give up, I think. Saying I've lost the trail. But I do have a surprise waiting for me back at evac. Anytime now. I swear. Also, I'm currently going towards the wrong direction to evac. Anyway, I find a dead botanist. And what do I find but Susie has been apprehended. And our fake kidnapper. Or kidnappee, whatever. They're currently using the kidnappee's brewed chemistries. Mostly meth. To torture, I guess, the sec killer, which is a really bad idea, because if they ever get to escape, they'll be able to run away at super speed. Anyway, I tell everybody what happened. I tell them about the PDA and everything. they're a bit focused on getting overdosed on meth. But hey, that was a good round, I think. I feel like I did good work as a detective. Turned out that the two suspects I pinned for the side bombing and the sec bombing were correct. There was a third investigation I had that I didn't show. It was an EMAG somebody found. Apparently in some engineer's maintenance, but it took so long for everybody to respond to my queries about the location, and there weren't any prints on the EMAG. Obviously, it was an engineer who did it. I think they were found in solar, but nobody ever showed me which one. So I didn't get to investigate that case. But hey, I did solve my own murder. And the side bombing. Also, there was a med bombing somewhere, but I was busy hunting down Susie the entire time, using command comms and stuff. Anyway, that was my first shift as detective. I had some fun. Lots of fun, actually. I think this was my best shift. I got to investigate the most amount of cases since we had... It wasn't a hectic, you know, fight or anything. I got to find the PII for my efforts. I don't think I made any arrests, but hey, it was fun. Anyway, bye.